way to do it. Well, good afternoon, Rattler Nation. Welcome into the inaugural episode here in the 2022 season of the Arizona Rattlers Football Coaches Show with head coach Kevin Guy. Folks, my name is Floyd Simmons. I get to be the play-by-play voice for the Arizona Rattlers on broadcast television and radio, and it's my second year doing this, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of it and to watch the excellence unfold week to week. That is Arizona Rattlers football, and you can see there as you join us here now the friendly face and familiar face of the head coach of this very successful organization, off to an awesome start here in 2022, a 4-0 start as we get ready to go into week number 5, a Friday night tilt this coming Friday night for the Arizona Rattlers. That's head coach Kevin Guy. Coach Guy, good afternoon, and you look like you are on the cusp of another great week with the team. How you doing?
Hi, Floyd. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, today's game plan day, so we're getting ready for San Diego. So all the coaches are in, watching film and putting their ideas together for this week's game plan, and we will come together towards the end of the day and start the script.
Well, let's just start the show getting caught up on first of all, a successful 4 weeks of football so far. In the conference, in the Western Conference of the Indoor Football League, the Arizona Rattlers remain now the only unbeaten team, 4-0, coming off an impressive 67-20 victory over Las Vegas. You know, Las Vegas is a new football team, but not a team without a lot of talent. They're stocked, and they look like a team that just needs a little time to figure out who they are, get into a rhythm, get flowing. And they're going to be better than 67-20 at the hands of the Rattlers. But I think it says, and it speaks to just where the Rattlers are here in 2022. Talk about the game. Talk about your thoughts on how your team played on Friday night.
Well, I thought we played well. From in all three phases of the game. Vegas was coming off a short week. They played Monday night and had to turn around and play us on a Friday night. And we had a short week as well. We played Saturday night, just not as short as Vegas, and I just think our guys handled that a little better. And that's something with a new organization, new football team, a lot of players that Vegas, they just haven't played together very long, and that's something that's just part of their growth, right? But I thought our team handled it well. The short week was our third week in a row with a short week, and they were all three on the road. I was very happy with the way we played, and I gave the guys a couple of days off this week. They'll be back in the building, tomorrow, and we'll start getting ready for San Diego. But I thought they earned the off days. They showed up ready to play, and defensively kind of set the tone on the first drive of the game, and then offensively we scored on every possession of the game. So I was very pleased with that, and just little things that we got to continue to get better at. Again, the championship's not going to be won in the first quarter of the season. There's just little things that we want to continue to get better at, and you got to be careful as the season goes on, because these teams that started slow, they're going to start revamping their roster, and you can't get caught up looking at the standings, right? Because all of a sudden, in a few weeks, a team that might be 3-3 or 3-5 is not really a 3-5 football team, because they've upgraded some personnel. And no two games are alike. When you play a team the first time, everything's not going to work the same, the second time. So you got to go out and execute, and that's where our focus is. We try to keep the focus on us, where we're just trying to get better week to week.
Well, obviously, a team that earns a day off has done some pretty good things to get to that point. 4-0 record to start the season, and the only unbeaten team in the conference. Back on the Vegas game, your offense. Boy, I tell you, you said scoring on every possession, 67 points, your highest point total of the season, first time in the 60s, probably not the last time this year, for a team led by Drew Powell, the reigning two-time IFL's Offensive Player of the Year, and he played like it. He played like it with 15 completions, I believe it was, for about $175 and 5 touchdowns. What a night for Drew Powell.
Yeah, you're a great night. I thought our protection was a lot better. We moved Lamar Mady to center. We brought in Shannon Brooks at running back, and we thought our middle protection was pretty solid. Obviously, there's a lot of technique and fundamental things that we we still want to get better at. But I thought our protection was better. Receivers were running, better routes. Again, we kind of fell into that trap. We played Duke City, first game of the season, then turned around and played them the third. I didn't think we handled, the trip well when we went to Duke City. Offensively, we got stopped 3 or 4 times in that game. And so, I was on the offense last week. They responded. They got the message. And, they came out and played well. And I think bringing Troy Pelletier in as well gave us a spark. At a receiver, a guy that he wasn't in training camp with us this year, decided he wasn't going to play, and then called and said, hey, made a mistake. I still have it in me. I want to play. So we brought him in after training camp, and he did well. So I just think those little sudden moves that we did to our lineup gave us a little bit of a spark. I think it settled Drew down a little bit with our protection, got a little better. And I always say, when the guys around the quarterback starts playing better, your quarterback will start playing better. And he had a great night. I think it was 15 of 20 or 21, and over 70%. So anytime you're over 70%, that's winning football.
And he's over 70% throwing for the season in 4 games.
Right.
So he continues to be very efficient and among the league leaders, if not the league leader in pretty much every category, throwing the football as a quarterback. Now, we're used to his balance. We're used to a guy that gives you a lot with his legs, that can run the ball. And I think he's 3rd in the league in rushing right now. So he continues to give you that dimension. But you talked in the offseason about, throwing the football more. And it certainly seems like that has been part of the game plan going in every week to week here in the first 4 games of the season. How do you feel about the way your offense is mixed up, the way you're calling the offense, and the success that it's been providing?
Well, I think we can play any way that someone wants to play us. I mean, if you want to stack the box and make Drew throw, he's going to make the throws. I mean, I heard a lot of people around the league, question, Drew and his ability to throw the football. He was 70% last year and MVP of the league. Okay. And this year, I believe he's around 75, 76%. So, Drew could throw the football. I don't know, where those rumors started, but he could throw the football. I think it's because they're so focused on him being a dynamic runner that they forget that he can throw the football. So it's really, however you want to pick to play us, we can play, we can play those 12, 13 possession games, or we can slow it down and play those 7, 8 possession games, whatever you want to do. We're built to do both. We look forward to it. I think Drew's an outstanding player. He's shown that since he's got here at the Arizona Rattlers, and we try to put the best people around him to even enhance his game even more. So I'm extremely proud of him. He's working hard. He's got great work ethic. He's been a great leader in the locker room, and he's done a great job of leading this team and this organization. So again. We have other playmakers, and that's kind of been the message of Drew is like, hey, you don't have, you don't have to do everything, yourself. We got other playmakers on the team. Let's make sure we get the right run reads, make the right, go through your progressions in the passing game, make the right reads, get everybody involved. And that's when we're at our best.
Let me talk about those receivers for a moment. You mentioned Troy Pelletier. Great to have him. I mean, what a target, right? Like a guy that can go up, and he's pretty much going to outreach any defensive back that he comes across. He's a guy that gives you some length out there and can be tough inside the box there, inside the end zone. Todd Athey has had some pretty good early performance for you this season, and Jamal Miles seems to be more and more a factor as his journey with the Arizona Rattlers continues to mature. Those are 3 names, but you talked about weapons. It's not just Drew Powell. There are other guys that make it happen for the Rattlers, right?
Yeah, well, Athey's new to the offense, and he was slowed down a little bit with a minor injury this past week. We look to get him going again this week. But obviously Pelletier's been in this offense last year as a rookie. This is his 2nd year playing. So he definitely has a better understanding of the offense. Miles, he's been Mr. Consistent since we had him. But, Braxton Haley and Isaiah Houston, I think those two this year, both in their 2nd year. And we was only with those two, I think the sky's the limit with. They're starting to get a better understanding of our offense, and Drew's getting more comfortable with them too. I think the timing's getting there, so I do like our receiving core this year, and I like what all the guys bring to the table. We've had some other guys that are here too, receiver wise. Harvey played in the first game with us. And hasn't played in the last few games, but we just have a lot of depth at receiver, and we have a lot of guys that are capable of making plays. And and to me, this game's about matchups, and how the team we're going to play, the next opponent, how do they play defense, and we have the luxury of kind of moving some guys around and trying to get some different matchups and attacking teams differently. So. I like the way we put our roster together, and excited to see what this group's going to do together as the season goes forward.
Well, that's the head coach of the Arizona Rattlers. This is the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show with Kevin Guy. Floyd Simmons here, your host, and Coach Guy, the game on Friday, San Diego. I think I'll begin with asking you this. We saw them play at Tucson this past weekend, and they won a nail-biter last-second game. They won in the last second. Very high-scoring game, and they've shown that their offense is highly capable, and they've got some very, very good weapons. A couple of good running backs. They can throw the ball well. They move the ball. So there's going to be a big test for you on Friday night at the Snake Pit. And I begin with that defense then. That defense for you that has been spectacular all season long. You only gave up 20 points this past night. Your second halves seem to be pretty extraordinary. Your defense after that halftime break just is, locking it down. How do you feel about what's going on there? This is a team with a lot of new faces on that side of the ball, and yet they have just plugged right into a system that is seeing a lot of good success and really shutting people down.
Yeah, I think our defense has played really well this year. We're creating, turnovers. And, one of the things that we talk about is creating a nightmare for your opponent. And we're going to pressure you up front. We're going to pressure you in the back. It fits our philosophy on what we're trying to do with offense. We have an overall team philosophy. It's just not an offensive philosophy and a defensive philosophy. What we do on offense, defense, special teams, it all fits together. It's an overall organizational philosophy of how, we're gonna pressure you, and I thought we've done a good job of bringing in some young talent this year. Guys are listening, and I looked at the roster the other night when we played Vegas. We only had 3 guys on our game roster that played in other organizations before they came to us. So 18 out of the 21 started here at the Rattlers, learned this brand of indoor football from us. And, we've been able to build on that. And I think that's the key, to winning. I think a lot of coaches in the league, when it free agency starts, some of those players on the other teams, look good when you're playing against them. But sometimes when you bring them in, they don't always fit your philosophy and what you're trying to do. And so we like growing our own here. And we're going to continue to do that. That's been our philosophy as an organization. And just defensively, we got a good young group that's bought in. There's no bad habits, right? And when I say bad habits, when they come from other organizations, they have habits that they develop that, when you bring them in here and they start their career here, they only know what you teach them, because this is a different game. It's different than the outdoor game. And, you want to teach them your way of doing things. And it's a little bit easier to buy in that way. So, we believe in it, and we're going to continue to do it that way. The effort, it's about effort. I can't coach effort, right? There's a lot of things that we can coach and clean up on mistakes, but I can't coach effort. And we look for guys that play with motors.
Well, Coach, you still have the reigning defensive player of the year on your defense, Dylan Winfrey. You also have the player of the year from the previous season as well, Devontae Merriweather. And with those 2 guys on your defense and a number of other talented personnel, Kyrie Woods joins your roster this year, and he's gotten the player of the week twice already in 4 games you've played here in the IFL this year with his performances. There are guys left and right on that roster for you on your side of the ball with defense that are I don't know. They're making names for themselves. They are the reputations are growing, and they are a big part of why you are yielding such a low total on defense every time you go out there.
Well, I think when you're recruiting, Floyd, you're looking for people that fit. You're looking for players that fit what you do from a philosophy standpoint. And a lot of times when I watch film, of other teams, what they're trying to do, that player skill set doesn't match what they're asking them to do. And we try to really focus on making sure that the skill set matches the philosophy that we want to play here. And you can't bring a player in and reinvent him. I mean, they are what they are, right? They have their skill set. Obviously as a player, you want to continue to develop your game. But I think our player personnel staff here does a great job of identifying those skill sets that match our philosophy. And, Kyrie's a local kid here, went to Chandler High School, played at San Diego State, had an outstanding career over there. And, he's been a good fit for us. He plays hard. And, but the one thing I could tell you is when we evaluate our players, number one on the list is intelligence and character. And that's something that we look for. And I really like this locker room. This locker room seems very close this year. Very, very teachable. They retain, but the intelligence that we have on this football team, I've been really impressed with this year. Guys that buy in, that are putting the work in mentally. That's what I've been impressed with, as a head coach. So we're going to continue to try to build on that as well. But I do think that the intelligence and the character is paying off for us.
Coach, you excited to see the San Diego Strike Force in town this Friday night for the first time in a little while? I believe they set out the one season, and here they are ready to go, coming into your place. They've got a good team. You excited about the matchup on Friday?
Yeah, I am. They were dormant last year because of COVID, and Vivi's been doing a great job of running that organization this year. You can tell that her leadership, there's a huge difference in the San Diego team that we saw, in 2019, or I believe it was when we saw them play. I got to see them kind of up close without coaching them. I saw them, obviously because we've already played them once, but this past weekend I went down to support my wife. Her team, Tucson, was playing them. And, when they won on the last play of the game, and, I had 3 or 4 of them players come over, and I was sitting in the suite area just talking to corporate sponsors and having conversations. You came down and said hello, it was kind of my night off. I really wasn't paying attention to anything really that was going on. I was just catching up with some old friends. But when they went on that last play, 3 or 4 of them players came over and said they can't wait to see us in Phoenix next week. So, so I was letting them know, like, hey, I had nothing to do with that game, but I will have something to do with this game, and we will be ready.
Unquestionably. Coach, before we wrap it up, I want to end these coaches shows with a little something I call get to know your coach guy. So I'm going to ask you a question from time to time, try to figure out a little something about you, backstory. So most of us know, if we know anything about Kevin Guy, you're from Alabama. Your roots are Alabama football guy for sure. And so my question to you, and as I'm going to announce that, I'm going to say that somebody had given me a gift not long ago. I'm going to pull it out of the box for the first time here, and hopefully I don't drop it. And it is, oh yeah, beautiful. It's my very own personal Kevin Guy. There's my camera. It's my Kevin Guy bobblehead, Coach. I'm sure you've seen those before, right? So I get one.
When I was younger.
Yeah, I think a little bit younger. I think you, if I'm not mistaken, you were giving away a signed one, or the team gave away a signed Kevin Guy bobblehead not long ago, as well as a promotion. So I've got my own right here. So get to know your coach Guy, Kevin Guy. You're from Alabama. Years ago, I had a friend from Alabama who told me one time, we were talking about this, that, or the other, and he said, and he made a statement that stuck out to me the whole time. It's always stuck out. He said, them Alabama boys know how to drive. So I got a question for you. You ever drove any kind of race car action, any kind of go-karts, any kind of dirt track, any kind, and is it true that them Alabama boys can drive, and can you can you put your foot down? Can you get around a track? Can you drive a car?
I can drive anything that has wheels on it. So there's a couple things you learned when you're growing up in Alabama. You're going to, number one, football. Okay. You're going to learn football, and two, hunting and fishing kind of comes with living down there. It's Alabama the Beautiful, right? And then yeah, it's race cars. I mean, I grew up. My hometown was Bessemer, Alabama, and is my original hometown. I lived two different places, but Bessemer was where my mom and dad was from, and where I lived until 8th grade, and the Wallace family. Bobby Wallace and Davy Wallace, all those guys, they were from that area. Okay. And, so I never really got into the NASCAR myself, but I did like the infield. That's where the party was at. When you went to Talladega, I liked the infield, but I like hanging out in there, but just sitting there watching the racing, but it's not uncommon to find on a Saturday night around midnight, those long straightaway roads. There will be some drag racing going on. You just got to know where to find them.
Might be a little driving, and a lot of fun. All right, Coach. Going to be a big game on Friday night, 7:05 kickoff. Remember that, folks. If you're going to come out to the Snake Pit, the Footprint Center for the big game against San Diego's Strike Force. Again, kickoff is 7:05 this Friday night at the arena. And we look forward to it. Coach, good luck to you and the guys. I know it's going to be a busy week getting prepared, and I know you're going to have them prepared. So we look forward to a big one on Friday.
We appreciate it, Floyd. Appreciate your time, and looking forward to see you on Friday and seeing all the Rattler Nation. We've been on the road for 3 weeks, so we're excited to be back at home. And we got a bye week after the game, so we get a chance to kind of heal up and rest a little bit. So we're looking forward to that as well.
All right, the big homecoming. Folks, come on out and join us on Friday night, 7:05 at the Footprint Center, the Snake Pit, for the next Arizona Rattlers football game. For Coach Kevin Guy, I'm Floyd Simmons. This has been the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show, and we'll see you again in about a week, everybody.